Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be talking about Major Hurricane Delta, and the updates to the forecast here that we have for this storm is looking like it's going to be even stronger as it impacts the Gulf Coast of the United States, so you're going to want to stay tuned for all of the details within this video. Now, before I get started with this video though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you do like weather-related content, and also make sure to share this video with your friends, family, and social media. I'd also ask that you check out our very exciting Patreon page in the description and the pinned comment down below. Anyways, for today's comment of the day, I want to know, do you think that Hurricane Delta is going to be our last major hurricane of 2020, or do you think we will have one or two more? Let me know in the comments down below, give me a reason why, and I'll be picking one of those for tomorrow's video. Now let's get into this video, and first things first, we're taking a look at the National Hurricane Center's cone forecast here for our Hurricane Delta. This was the 4 a.m. update because I usually wake up extremely early to make these videos. It's just my preference. So that's why usually the 8 a.m. update comes out like right after I upload it, because I'm always, before that is when I'm making the video. It's kind of unfortunate, but that's just how it goes, I guess. We're expecting this major hurricane to impact the Yucatan Peninsula, including Cancun and Cozumel. Meteorologist Reed Timmer is actually located in Cancun right now. He flew in. I shared that to our Facebook page, Direct Weather. You can check that out in the pinned comment and the description to see that. You can like our page too. We've been posting to it a lot more. But yeah, he posted a live stream. He's been there, so you can check out his Facebook page as well. Again, we shared that through ours, so you can check that out down below. Anyway, so we're expecting this one to become a major hurricane again by about 1 p.m. on Thursday. It's a major hurricane right now, but it's expected to downgrade to a Category 2, again, until 1 p.m. on Thursday, and then it's going to hit Louisiana as a major hurricane. So this storm is not looking good whatsoever. It's going to intensify possibly rapidly again over the Gulf and then hit Louisiana as either a Category 3 or more storm. What we're going to do here is we're going to move on. We're going to take a look at the satellite imagery, the spaghetti models, and also the impacts coming up from Major Hurricane Delta. As you can see, we're taking a look at the satellite imagery here, and this storm is looking very interesting. We have very tall clouds, no defined eye. That's kind of been the story of this storm. The eye has been extremely small, and actually we saw this storm really break up last night. It wasn't looking like this one was going to be too strong, but it's come back really, really strong actually just before reaching the Yucatan Peninsula. It's very unfortunate how that played out. Cozumel is just getting slammed right now. Same story with Cancun, like I said before. That's where Reed Timmer is. You can check that out. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at our spaghetti model guidance. And as you can see, this storm is going to, within 24 hours, be back over the Gulf of Mexico. It's going to cross over the Yucatan Peninsula. That's when it's going to start intensifying again. And then we're going to see it 24 hours from then. So in 48 hours, going to be pretty close to hitting Louisiana. We're going to start seeing those bands, those outer bands hitting Louisiana. And this storm's going to be rapidly intensifying by that point. And within 72 hours, it's going to be hitting Louisiana as a strong major hurricane there. It's going to bring precipitation well into the central eastern United States as well. Not really wind impacts, obviously. What we're going to do here is move on, and we're going to take a look at all three of our ensemble models. Then we're going to get into the intensity guidance, and then eventually we're going to start talking about the impacts, winds, arrival time of winds. We're also going to take a look at the total rainfall as well. So first things first, here is that Canadian ensemble model, and this one has it the weakest of all three ensemble models, which is kind of how it's been with this one. This one is known for being the worst of the three. It has a very weak low pressure center actually throughout most of this, but the location is very, very similar to what the GFS is showing, the GFS ensemble model that is. As we move on to the GFS ensemble model, you can see all of its members have it at least getting down to, well, I see 976. So really, it's showing a strong low pressure center either way, most likely under 970 millibars, which is indicating a very strong storm. Some of these getting as low as into the 950s and the 940s. That would be probably a Category 4 or 5, but really it's hard to speculate with the pressure because it can be very misleading. So I usually recommend people don't do that. And then we have our European ensemble model, and this is one of the most interesting because it is further west than all of the rest of the models, as you can see. It's showing more of like a Texas-Louisiana border impact right where Laura hit. Very unfortunate there. This would be interesting because a lot of the models have shown it further east than what the European model is showing, but we'll have to see. Maybe the European model will win here. but really it's being very bold right now. It also has the strongest storm out of all of them. As you can see, there's many members that are showing it as low as 950s, 940s. Probably about a quarter of the models are actually showing that. But equally, we have some showing in the blues, which is a higher pressure center. So it can go either way according to the European model. What we're going to do here is we're going to move on, and first things first, we're going to take a look at the intensity guidance. Then we're going to start talking about impacts from Major Hurricane Delta. Now here we are taking a look at that intensity guidance, and you can really see the dip in intensity right there as we hit landfall within 12 hours, and then we can see the curve back up towards a stronger storm. There is a few of these models that have it really dying down as it hits the Yucatan Peninsula, even possibly down to a Category 1, and then it's those same models that don't really get it back up to a Category 3 ever. They keep it just lower the whole time, as you can see, but equally there is probably 4 or 5 models that show this one rebounding up to at least a Category 4, and then probably about 80% of these models are showing it at least rebound back to a Category 3 within the next 48 hours, and then you can see that drop off at hour 60. That's with landfall, so you can see it's making landfall roughly around hour 60, maybe just before, according to these models. So it seems extremely likely that we're going to see a Category 3 hurricane hit Louisiana. If not a Category 4, there is a slight chance that it's as low as a Category 2 though, which would be best case scenario at this point, obviously. Now let's take a look at this hurricane force wind speed probabilities. Keep in mind, the further into the track this goes, the lower the probability, because it could obviously shift where it's going to go. But if you're in the greens, you're under 30% chance. If you're in the yellows or oranges, you're at about 30 to 70% chance. And if you're in the reds, which you would have to be in Mexico, you're at about a 70 to 90% chance there. Let's take a look at the most likely arrival time of tropical storm force winds. And as you can see, for the United States, it's around 8 a.m. on Fridays when we're going to start to see those tropical storm force winds. It's going to take a little bit longer for the hurricane force winds, obviously, but that's when we're going to start to see the tropical storm force winds at least. Now, real quickly, here's the key messages for Hurricane Delta. I recommend you pause this either if you're in Mexico or if you're in the Gulf Coast of the United States. You might want to just pause this, read this through. It has information for both of those regions. Very, very life-saving information. Also, if you'd like more information like this, you can go to the National Hurricane Center to seek official guidance, obviously, on what to do if you live in those regions. What we're going to do here is we're going to move on and we're going to take a look at the impacts. We're going to start talking about the total rainfall. We're going to take a look at a hurricane model, actually, and just run the whole run through from Mexico to Louisiana and see how strong those winds are expected to be. And then we're going to do our official direct weather forecast. So here's the total rainfall that we're expecting according to the National Hurricane Center, and it's basically exactly around the range I was talking about in yesterday's video. About 6 to 10 seems to be the peak here, so we see those oranges coming on shore to Louisiana and also along that Mississippi-Louisiana border there as well. So very widespread 6 to 10 inches within those orange regions, and the yellow regions, which extend all the way into Arkansas and Tennessee, that's 4 to 6 inches of rain, so that's still a lot. And then we see anywhere in the greens is under 4 inches of rain, which is what I would call minor to moderate amounts of rainfall, not going to cause much flooding. It's mostly those yellows and oranges is where we could run into more of the moderate to major flooding impacts, depending on your area, obviously, because some areas are more susceptible than others. Let's get into that HWRF model. And this is known for, well, this year it's known for being a very good hurricane model. Some years these hurricane models are known for overdoing things, but the track and intensity according to this model has been excellent so far this year. I've been watching it all year, and I'm going to start using it more and more and more because it's just been great this year. I might start using it more next year and see how it does. But this is basically the mile per hour winds that we're expecting. So as you can see, by this point, it's bringing those winds onto Cancun, Cozumel, and it's just outside of the eye wall for a lot of those regions. The very northern tip, actually, of the Yucatan Peninsula expects to get the most winds here. And we're going to have, in those kind of reds inside the whites and browns, that's where we're anywhere from about 70 to 100 mile per hour winds, which is what I would consider very major, obviously. The oranges is anywhere from about 30 to 48 mile per hour, and those browns through like the white shades is more like 48 to probably about 65 mile per hour winds. Obviously anything under the yellows is where you're looking at more moderate gusty winds maximum. And then here is by time we're at about this afternoon, so Wednesday maybe 2 p.m. here. It's going to be crossing over the Yucatan Peninsula, and it's going to be back over open water. So this might be when we start to see this one intensify more. And then this is by time we're taking a look at probably about 2 or 3 a.m. on Thursday morning, which is going to be tomorrow from the time I'm making this video. And it's going to have maximum winds of 122 miles per hour according to this model. So it's going to be really intense. It's going to be back above what it's at actually currently as I speak. And then by time it's about to hit Louisiana, it's going to have about 118 mile per hour winds according to this model, which is going to be at least a category 3. So a very, very major storm is expected to hit Louisiana, very, very strong winds. Now let's get into that official direct weather forecast for this one, and as you can see, it's a category 3 like I said. I added the information on the bottom right. I used to do that every time. I thought it was very crucial here because, well, first off, you can see the location. There we have 115 mile per hour winds. We have a 972 millibar low pressure center, but look at how fast this one is moving to the northwest, 17 miles per hour. That is racing across, and that's why in about 3 days we're going to already be talking about impact for Louisiana there. Anyways, for today's comment of the day, I asked you guys which state of the United States do you think will be the most impacted by Hurricane Delta, and Gala Logical said that they think that Hurricane Delta is going to impact Louisiana the most, and overnight, since the morning yesterday, that has been very apparent that Louisiana would see the most impacts from this storm, so that's a good call there by Gala Logical. Anyway, for today's patron highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our diamond patrons Alicia Davis, Madbird, Cindy Klein, Dan Hazard, and Mark J, alongside our platinum patrons Donna Carnes and Larry LePan. As always, stay tuned to the National Hurricane Center for official guidance on what to do during this very dangerous storm. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching this video. As always, be sure to share this video with your friends, family, and social media. I will see you guys in the next video.